welcome to this video, welcome to my channel. My name is Emma, this is Juliet, and welcome to the vlog. So it is Monday, August 30th, and I just wanted to give you a quick update on the things that I have been reading. So on audio, actually yesterday at the gym, I started listening on audio to Beartown by Fredrik Backman. Fredrik Backman is a Swedish author who writes kind of, in my opinion, character study novels. He's most well known for A Man Called Ove, but last week I read Anxious People by him and totally fell head over heels for him. Fredrik Backman, his writing, that is. And so I am wanting to move through his repertoire because I loved Anxious People so much. So Beartown is about a tiny forest town called Beartown up in the forests of Sweden. This town is completely and utterly devoted to the sport of hockey. It's all about all the people in this tiny town who are involved in hockey. I'm enjoying it so far. The story hasn't quite captivated my attention like Anxious People did. Like with Anxious People, I was like on the fence for a couple chapters, but then before I knew it, I was totally invested and just couldn't think about anything else other than that bank robbery. I think because Beartown is more based in sports, I am kind of automatically, prejudicially kind of checked out from it. But part of the character examination is the examination into why people are so invested in hockey in this town, and the people who aren't invested in hockey, why they're not invested in it, and what those groups of people think about each other. So that is really captivating my attention. There's also a lot of teenagers in the book because it's about like teenage hockey teams, and so there's the teenagers who play hockey on the different teams, and then there's their siblings and their parents, and so those dynamics are really interesting. I think teenagers are fascinating. And then I finished Crescent City House of Earth and Blood a bit past midnight last night. And then today I started Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. It took me a while to get through House of Earth and Blood, and so I wanted something that would move fast. And Lock Every Door has definitely done that. I am just shy of 300 pages. Just having read it today. I am going to try to finish this tonight. If you don't know, Lock Every Door is about a young woman who has no money and no prospects. She has just broken up with her boyfriend, lost her job and her apartment all in one day. And so she takes this job where she is apartment sitting in a very prestigious, well-to-do, affluent, rich apartment building on the Upper West Side, I believe, of New York City, so she can see Central Park from her living room. And there are only a couple of rules, and she's getting paid bank to do this, but there are only a couple of rules. One is that you can't have any visitors in the apartment overnight. Two is that you have to spend every night of your contract, which is 3 months, in the apartment. And three, which is you can't bother the residents because the Bartholomew, which is the apartment building, is known for its secrecy. So people who are famous, people who are rich, people who are both rich and famous live in the Bartholomew for the sake of discretion. Things have been creepy, and in the situation of the main character, what the heck is even her name? Jules. If I was in Jules' position, I would also be scared out of my mind. But as a reader, I haven't been scared yet, and I have about 80 pages left. So what that tells me is either this is not that scary, or in 80 pages, I'm about to get my pants scared off. So I'm not sure which is gonna happen, but we'll see. So tonight, my goal is to edit the vlog that I will be posting tomorrow, as well as finish Lock Every Door. Now, I may be going over to my friend's apartment in a couple hours once I've had dinner. I'm still waiting on my HelloFresh box for this week to arrive. They're all currently in school. They just started the semester, so I'm going to work on my video while I'm there if I go over there, while they do homework and stuff. So that's the plan for tonight, and I will see you when I have another update. It's time for biscuits. Hello friends, I hope that this angle is going to work for us. You are sitting propped against my monitor on top of my speaker, and I raised my standing desk a few inches so that we could have a good angle, so I hope this works. We'll see. But welcome to my office. I moved my desk since the last time you were here, and I'm on my lunch break at work. And right before I turned on the camera, I just finished Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. I'm still kind of like buffering and computing this one. It was definitely a surprise in a lot of ways. So the first thing is that it didn't scare me like at all. And I don't know if something's wrong with me or if it's just not something, or if it's just not like a scary thriller for me. Maybe I was expecting too much fright from a thriller. I don't know, because I haven't read a ton of thrillers. I think this is my first actual like true purebred thriller. So I think I may not have known what to expect, because Riley Sager is so critically acclaimed that I think probably it was me that I just didn't know what to expect, and I was expecting more of like a horror kind of vibe. I just was kind of like waiting for something else to happen, like waiting to get scared, waiting to feel like paranoid or like I needed to check behind me or something, and I didn't feel that at all in this book. I don't know, I'm kind of conflicted because I really enjoyed the book for what it was, but it didn't meet my expectations of what I thought it would be. The first ever like scary movie I ever watched was A Quiet Place. I saw it in theaters and I was like a little horrified at points with like the body horror, but I wasn't really scared. This has been a similar experience of when I watched A Quiet Place, because A Quiet Place generally in terms of horror movies or thrillers is not a very scary movie, but this has been a similar experience where I was expecting a lot more suspense and horror than I got, and I enjoyed it for what it was, but my expectations were misplaced. I'm thinking that as I continue to read in the thriller genre, especially with Halloween coming up, that I will figure out how I feel more about this book. Right now I'm gonna give it 3.5 stars. As I read more thrillers, I think I'll understand whether those expectations were misplaced or not. The next book that I'm going to be reading, starting off during the rest of this lunch break, is The Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown. I'm so excited to read The Da Vinci Code. It is one of my favorite movies, and I've never read the book because I only recently watched the movie for the first time, and so I am psyched out of my mind. My little Parisian and dark academia soul is very excited to read this book. So The Da Vinci Code is about an American professor and academic, a professor of symbology named Robert Langdon, played by Tom Hanks in the movies, who is in Paris giving a lecture at a signing and book event of his new book, which is about the sacred feminine. While he is there, an old colleague of his turns up murdered in the Louvre, with all kinds of crazy symbols carved into his body and strewn about the body. And Robert Langdon is brought in to help solve the case, and he uncovers so many things. He uncovers this code, he uncovers secret societies galore. It is just the greatest. So it's so good, it's so good. So I'm gonna go try to make it a few pages through this, and I will talk to you later. Hello everyone, good morning. It is September 1st and I just wanted to check in and say, hey, I actually stopped reading Beartown. I just was not interested in it, which kind of sucks because I really loved Anxious People by Frederick Bachman, but Beartown just wasn't doing it for me. In the spirit of now being a reader of thrillers, I started listening to the thriller, like capital T, Gone Girl by, please hold, Gillian Flynn. Gone Girl is about a woman named Amy and her husband Nick. Amy disappears one day and Nick is a prime suspect, but it's very confusing. Nobody really knows exactly what's going on. I suspect Nick has more to do with it than he's letting on, but I really don't know. There's some really suspicious things that he says and then some really exonerating things that he says, and I just don't know. I have no clue. I'm listening to that. I'm really enjoying it. I'm probably about a bit over a quarter of the way through, maybe a third of the way through. There are some elements of it, like some passing moments that are striking me as kind of misogynistic. So that's a little like problematic, but it is consistent. Nick will be misogynistic towards Amy at some points, and then Amy will show some internalized misogyny. Just paying attention to that and marking it mentally. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I am doing all of my work at my desk and listening to it just like with bated breath, trying to figure out what's going on. Who is it? Oh. So anyway, I'm going to get back to my work. It was nice to see you for a couple minutes. I started the Da Vinci Code, but I was really tired. I fell asleep over my covers under a blanket last night at like 8 p.m. and slept until 7. So that's a little update for you. Oh, and it's September, so happy Halloween. So I just wanted to update that I had mentioned some internalized misogyny coming from Amy. I just got to the cool girl speech, which I've heard a lot about before, but I just got to the cool girl speech, so yeah. It's Friday, I'm at work, and I was just getting my stuff done, listening to the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, and I just listened to the rat scene, and I feel like I'm gonna have a nervous breakdown. Or I'm gonna cry. That was the worst thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Oh my God.
Hi everybody, it's Editing Emma, and I just wanted to pop in and say that while I was listening to the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, I decided to record my live reaction to another really horrifying scene. So here are the highlights from that. I decided to just sit in my office during my lunch break and soak up every second of this book that I could, and actually cried. This is the second cry of the day where I was listening to this book. So, yeah. As you can see, this is when it got really bad. And then as things start to resolve, you can see me put my head down and then take a deep breath. Everything is okay.
Hi, how are you? Welcome to Saturday. I am currently tuned in to the first Magical Readathon Reading Sprints live situation. It's about noon here where I am, and I just slept in late, got up, went to the gym, came back, showered, and now I'm on the reading sprints. So I have finished the Da Vinci Code and the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, both 5 stars, I think. The Da Vinci Code, loved it, adored it. I'll talk more later, but Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, loved it. It was fantastic. Will I ever read it again? Absolutely not. The cockroach scene happened while I was driving. Don't don't listen to the audiobook while you're driving, okay? Sounds good. I gave blood yesterday, came back, finished both of those books, and just went to bed and slept in late. So today is hopefully gonna be just like a reading day, and then tomorrow is gonna be a cleaning day as well as working on this vlog. And then Monday is Labor Day, so in America we have the work day off. So I am super pumped to just have like a readathon themed day. I went to Bath and Body Works yesterday and got a sweet cinnamon pumpkin candle. So that one is more potent than the one up there I have from Target, but I'm burning both of them so that I get the maximum pumpkin feel because I am so ready for it to be fall. So ready, so ready, so ready. So I'm brewing coffee and I'm gonna tune into this live stream and I will talk to you later. Hi, hello, how are you? It is Sunday morning and we have 3 books to discuss. 2 that I finished, 1 that I am working my way through. This weekend, as is the case with almost every weekend, I crashed, totally just out of it. Goodbye. Last weekend, I slept most of Saturday, and so it was really sad because it felt like I only had a 1-day weekend, but this weekend, I slept most of yesterday and I have an extra day because it's Labor Day weekend. So the plan is this. Today I'm going to deep clean the apartment. I like to call it an apartment reset, where as I move through my life living in this space, things get ever so slightly out of whack. Along with routine cleaning, an apartment reset is just like putting everything back where it came from. Like right now, there has been my coloring book that I color in when I'm bored has been sitting on the ground next to where it's supposed to go for about a week now. So I'm gonna put that back. It's just things like that where I have not taken the time to like put that back where it comes from. But it's like that all over the apartment, just like little things that just aren't quite right. So deep clean and set everything to rights. It's gonna take a lot of energy, but I'm looking forward to it being done. So in terms of my reading updates, first up is the Da Vinci Code. So I mentioned yesterday that I was gonna rate this 5 stars, and I think that's still the case. It's one of those books where I don't know if it's like the greatest book ever. I know that the research and the puzzle that Dan Brown has put together is phenomenal, but I don't know if it's the greatest book of all time, but I know that I love it, and so it's gonna be a 5-star for me. There were some extra elements in this book that were not a part of the movie, and I don't know why, because it wouldn't have taken but like another minute on screen to do. The character was already there. They could have just like made the connection. It's about the very end. It's another thing with Sophie's family. If you've read the book and seen the movie, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. I know that I keep comparing this to the movie, but I love the movie so much. I was surprised, like genuinely shocked reading it, because there are so many pieces of dialogue in the movie that are just pulled straight out of the book. The one critique that I do have for the Da Vinci Code is that the pace was overly consistent. So it just went the same pace the whole time. It never picked up or slowed down or anything. At least it didn't feel like it was doing that for me. So like by page 350 out of 450, I was bored and ready for it to end. And so I kind of zoned out, just trying to like get through the end. But nevertheless, the story still holds up. I still love and adore it. The next thing I finished was the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix, that's his name. With this one, I've got to figure out how to say exactly what I mean, because what I want to say is hard to say without it sounding like it's a negative thing, and it's not. It's a positive thing. So just bear with me. It was so gross. It's one of those books where you hate everyone, even the main character. I kind of liked Pamela in spite of myself Pamela? Patty? Patricia. That's her name. Her name is Patricia. I kind of liked Patricia in spite of myself just because she was so ready to go to bat for everybody. But there was still some like, girl, like, you know, actually the one person that I don't think was a bad person is Corey, her daughter. Because Corey's just going through it. Like, Corey... Blue was a little, like, red flagging for me. He had some suspicious habits. Just thinking about that scene where all the husbands are together with the wives and giving their opinions on things just makes me want to cry and punch a wall. So, also, the vampire, he was a horror show, actually. There was no romanticizing vampires or vampirism. There was just none of it. The whole thing, if you know the book, if you read the book, you know, the whole thing with the thing in his throat. So, like I said yesterday, 5 stars just because of the quality of the book. It was so addictive too. Like I showed, I cried because I was so horrified at the rat scene, and I was driving while I was listening to the cockroach scene. I'd actually just given blood, and I was driving to go get Sonic. I was like gripping. It was awful, but it was good. It was bad in the right way for the genre. High quality book. Definitely recommend it if you think you're up to it. If you have any questions about whether you're up to it, I would say maybe not. Those are the 2 books that I finished. Now I am on to The Burning Girls by CJ Tudor. I was gonna finish this last night, and then I was like, I'm moving through a bunch of books really quickly and I would rather take more time. So I watched 2 classic Halloween movies last night. I watched Night Before Christmas and Hocus Pocus, my 2 favorites. But this one is really freaking me out. While my number 1 fear in the world is home invasion, one of my other top fears is seeing ghosts. Like, I believe ghosts exist. I don't want to see them, especially like gory and grotesque ghosts. Like The Sixth Sense is also one of my like top favorite movies, but I don't want to be there. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. Do you hear me? I don't want to see it. This book, which has several already paranormal encounters, is really freaking me out, especially very gory paranormal encounters. Don't like it. We don't love to see it. So after that ramble, The Burning Girls is about a vicar and her daughter, her teenage daughter, who are relocated to a new parsonage in England. They were in Nottingham, which was like an urban setting, and now they've moved to the countryside with a super small parish. They have to relocate and fill in the gap at this parsonage because the former priest, reverend man, was found hanging in the chapel, and it is believed that he unalived himself. However, there are others who believe that he was unalived by another person. And then the other element of this book is that when Jack and her daughter Flo arrive to the parsonage, the parish house, someone has left an exorcism kit for her that has bloody knives in it. Creepy on all levels. So the minutes tick on and I need to get on with my chores. I don't think I'm going to listen to any audiobooks today because I do a lot better with like grocery shopping and everything when I'm listening to podcasts. So I think I'm just gonna just pick an episode of My Favorite Murder and go with it because that is my comfort podcast. Live, love, Karen Kilgariff. I wish she was in my family because I want to hang out with her all the time. Missing someone. everything is clean. I still have towels running in the dryer. I've parked myself on the couch until I make dinner, and I'm going to be reading. I think I'm on page 218, chapter 40, and I think things are about to start because there's 3 perspectives. One of them is the vicar Jack, which is first person. The second is Flo, her daughter, which is third person, and then there is another third person anonymous perspective who it's pretty much been revealed who he is, but they're about to intersect. So I think things are about to start happening.
Hello everyone, it's Editing Emma again. I just wanted to close out this vlog over footage of my sweet kitty Juliet not really taking a nap, but kind of taking a nap. So I finished The Burning Girls Sunday night. I'm going to rate it 4 stars. The beginning was very intriguing and the middle really lagged for me. I've seen a couple other people say that as well, that the middle lagged for them quite a bit. But the ending was really good. I really liked the way that it all came together, all elements of the story. It's definitely one where you question whether it's paranormal or true crime, and I think that the suspense in that way definitely pays off. So I definitely recommend The Burning Girls. I very much enjoyed all of the characters involved, especially the characters who ended up being the villains. I wanted to believe better of them. I had my suspicions, but I wanted to believe better of those people, and I think CJ Tudor wanted me to believe better of them as well, but nevertheless, it was a very, very good story. I enjoyed all parts and pieces of it, even though the middle was a bit slow. It was still a very high quality read. I hope that you're doing well. If you're not, I hope it gets better soon, and I hope that you love what you're reading. Goodbye!